Hi there Capricorn, thank you for joining me for your weekly forecast for week commencing the 4th of January. This is the time of the year when you can revitalise strands that are really important to you, but also perhaps start new ones. And some of the ideas that you've been percolating over the last couple of weeks, you've shown quite a lot of self-confidence around, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they've met with universal approval. Someone quite influential might be trying to block, or it's seen to you that they've not been very cooperative. Well, as this week begins, Mars relocates into the sign of Scorpio, which is much better for you insofar as building those cooperative links and also finding a way to marshal your individual needs with those of other people. If you wanted to get fitter as this new year begins, Mars in this location is great for sports. But it could be that you're keener to watch rather than participate. But if you are going to join in and attend some kind of club, well, your timing could be perfect. In fact, this can be a bit of a feature of this year, because for the next 6 weeks Mars is going to be in this area, and then for another 2 months later in 2016. But it does clash immediately with Mercury, which itself relocated last week into the sign of Aquarius, which is about resources. So your value systems may not necessarily match your long-term desires at the moment, or perhaps you could be tempted to try a little too hard to force the pace with any of these new schemes that you're working upon. And also, Venus, which is in a very psychological part of your horoscope, is involved in a very blurry, confusing link with Neptune, and conversations can be really quite hard to pin down and understand the more factual elements of them, but particularly with anyone you're close to. So if there is someone that you've been chatting to over the Christmas period from a romantic viewpoint and you'd like to get to know them more, well, perhaps you are still wanting to take the initiative on this situation. But don't necessarily expect to get to exactly where you want to be in the space of this week. There may still be some uncertainty or confusion. And around those long-term aims, you need to juggle a sense of realism with some of the goals that you're setting. But this is also a week when Jupiter begins a retrograde journey as well. And this is in your sector of expansion. Because Jupiter itself is about expansion. It's about travel, higher education, optimism, and of course, traditionally, of good fortune. In your 9th solar house, it's slamming on the brakes is truly significant, but particularly over the next 4 months. Therefore, you're going to have to be quite measured in the things that you're planning. Fortunately, because of your ruling planet being Saturn, your natural instinct is to be more cautious. And therefore, this retrograde in Jupiter, I think, is going to affect you less than some other zodiac signs. But it is asking you to scrutinise anything that you're involved with that's more speculative, or it's about opening up your world to wider vistas. And that takes you back to your goals, which need to be realistic. And in fact, some of these may be showing a little bit of a stop-start characteristic. You may find yourself looking at the financial side of things this week and being frustrated. And then when Mercury returns to your sign on Saturday, where it's going to be for the rest of this month, not going forwards again until the 25th, you can see that things may not quite go at the pace you hope. So just lower your expectations a bit and try to be a bit more philosophical. Because with Mercury's retrograde, where we end up in our thinking is often where we really need to be. And where you want to be at the start of the retrograde is not where we often end up. So if things do ebb and flow, whether it's around your love life or those key goals, try to take it in your stride. But there is a superb new moon in your sign on Sunday, and this is an opportunity to recast your personal identity. And if you are going to be hitting the sales, it could be around some new clothes to give you a little bit more of a fashionable look, or perhaps it's going to be changing your hair, or your thinking can just be revolutionised by this. But it too, along with Pluto, which continues to square with Uranus, is caught up with the planet of the unexpected. So if you are starting anything new, just be aware of how it impacts on your personal and private and more emotional situation. Otherwise, you could be ending up going through a series of stop-starts for some while to come. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.